What's good? What's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, coming to you via the YouTube airways. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K. Sapp. And today, man, we got some breaking news early out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But when you come across this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you got the post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And if this is your first time coming across the channel and you're new to the platform, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, post your comments, share the video out. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I see everybody in the comments section. Hashtag salute. And you know what my mantra is. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Well, let's get right off into it, man. Breaking news out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama's All-American freshman safety, Caleb Downs, has now hit the transfer portal. Now, you guys, I've told you that the Nick Saban retirement has a trickle-down effect. A lot of his former players have hit the transfer portal, and this is a major blow for the Alabama Crimson Tide. You know, Alabama is coming off of a loss to the Michigan Wolverines in that game to get to the national championship, and now things are spiraling out of control for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And like I said, this is the Nick Saban retirement trickle-down effect. We know Nick Saban spent 17 years, coaching Alabama. He has 231 wins. He's brought that program back to new heights, man. And now that, he has his replacement intact, Coach DeBoer, a lot of guys are jumping in the transfer portal, man. And like I said, it's the Nick Saban effect. And now, breaking news, Caleb Downs is set to enter the transfer portal. Now, this guy is special, man. This freshman, sources, Alabama freshman All-American safety Caleb Downs is starting the process of entering the NCAA transfer portal. He was one of the country's top freshmen in 2023 and looms as a high pick in the 2026 NFL draft. The talented safety will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. He is seen as one of the best players to enter the transfer portal in this cycle. Downs was named the SEC Freshman of the Year. He led Alabama in tackles with 107 while picking off 2 passes and breaking up another 4. He also had a punt return for a touchdown for the Crimson Tide. He doesn't look like a freshman at all. He looks like a guy that's been playing for years, Kirby Smart said. He's instinctive, he's fast, he's fearless. He has everything that he was in high school. I've seen him play about 100 7-on-7 games at our stadium and at our facility. When he was in high school, team came over all the time. And he's everything that we thought he was. Punt returner, he's just a football player that's instinctive, great tackler, just what you draw up when you want a defensive back. Downs was the #1 overall player in the state of Georgia in 2023's recruiting cycle after leading Mill Creek High School to a state championship. Downs committed to Alabama over Ohio State and Georgia. Those 2 teams should be seen as serious contenders to land down. According to John Talley of 247 Sports, Georgia is considered the favorite to land Downs. Now, Georgia has already landed one of Alabama's transfers this offseason as the Bulldogs pulled Jake Polk out of the transfer portal. Georgia also brought over Alabama's quarterback coach Tavares Robinson to be safeties coach and defensive coordinator. Robinson helped Alabama land Downs' commitment coming out of high school. In total, Georgia has landed 6 players via the transfer portal. The Bulldogs have seen plenty of players transfer out of the program, with 18 scholarship players moving on elsewhere. Georgia does bring back safety Malik Starks, who started every game for Georgia last season. Starks was the first-team All-American for the Bulldogs. Georgia does have replaced Javon Bullard and Tyke Smith, with both moving on to the NFL. At the safety position, Georgia brings back Dan Jackson, David Daniel Savannah, Ja'Cory Thomas, Jonell Angaro, and Kyra Jones. In addition to bringing back Pope, the Bulldogs also landed 5-star prospect KJ Bolden in the 2024 recruiting class. Now, Alabama has seen multiple defensive backs transfer out of the Crimson Tide after Crimson Tide hired Kalen DeBoer as the team's head coach. DeBoer replaces Nick Saban, who announced his retirement on Wednesday. Downs will be able to transfer within the SEC due to the Saban's retirement. This will certainly be a player to watch in the transfer portal. So that's interesting, man. So there you have it, man. Caleb Downs is set to hit the transfer portal. Like they said, they have high hopes on this kid. He's a fearless, instinctive guy. And also, at the time, man, you know, what he does is he provides a mainstay in a defensive backfield, man. And they said he's a high pick for the NFL in 2026. Now, let's go ahead and bring in 24/7 Sports and listen to what they had to say.
We've got breaking news out of college football where Alabama safety Caleb Downs is entering the transfer portal. That is according to 24/7 Sports. Downs was the #1 safety in the country last year coming out of high school. He recorded 107 tackles his freshman year and was named a freshman All-American. 24/7 Sports' John Tolte reports that Georgia is currently the team to beat for Downs. So let's welcome in senior staff writer for Bama 247, John Tolte. John, before we get into all of it, give us your initial reaction. What are you thinking when you're hearing that Caleb Downs is entering the transfer portal? Surprised or not so much?
Well, this has been in the works the last couple of days. I think that when Nick Saban especially decided to retire, Caleb Downs came to Alabama to learn under Nick Saban. Nick Saban, a defensive backs master, worked very closely with Downs. So I think when Nick Saban left, really opened, a lot of questions for Caleb and his family. I think they were very curious to see who was going to be the defensive coordinator and who was going to be his position coach. Now that those hires have been made for Alabama, I think it made Caleb's decision kind of clear that it was time to look elsewhere. But, big picture wise, this is a massive blow for Alabama to lose Caleb Downs, a terrific player. People think he could be one of the real greats of Alabama defensive players. And there's been a lot of good ones that came through under Nick Saban, but a Minka Fitzpatrick type player has that kind of capabilities. And so this is the guy that you hope as a new coach like Kalen DeBoer that you can build a foundation around. So to see him enter the transfer portal and, again, according to our reporting, Georgia the favorite to land him, to not only potentially lose him, but to see him go to what's going to be your top competition in the SEC is a tough blow when you've only been on the job less than a week.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that because if you're a Bama fan and then you see Georgia take away one of your top guys, I mean, that's got to be a huge blow, especially for the Crimson Tide fans. What's your take on that?
Yeah, if he ultimately goes to Georgia, and again, we're reporting they're the clear favorite right now, and in part, one of the reasons why they are the clear favorite is that they recently hired Travaris Robinson, known as T-Rob. Downs has a very close relationship with T-Rob.
Man, there you have it, man. You heard what they said at 24/7 Sports, man. He has a close relationship with T-Rob. Alabama just hired him as a defensive backs coach and a defensive coordinator. So, man, this is going to get interesting. But, in this transfer portal, and these guys, commit to these teams, they can decommit. Now, there's one person out there looming, man, and that's Deion Sanders, man. And he's always told these guys he's not hard to find. And like I stated earlier, man, in a previous report, that, Shiloh Sanders and Shador Sanders, they are lobbying for these guys from Alabama that are jumping in the transfer portal to come on down to Boulder, Colorado for something special. And, on the previous show, we also stated that Odell Beckham Jr., NFL superstar wide receiver, Super Bowl champion, he's also helping in the recruiting process of getting these guys from Alabama that are jumping in this transfer portal to head on down to Colorado. Talking about hit up Coach Prime. They're not hard to find, but in the reports, Caleb Downs, Georgia is the favorite to land him. But this is the decision that Caleb Downs got to make, and it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be real interesting that these guys from Alabama that are jumping in the transfer portal, where they're going to land. Most of them that have jumped in the transfer portal, Florida State University is grabbing them. These guys are committing to Florida State University. But hey, this is what the transfer portal is, man. These are these young guys' decisions. But like they said, man, and Deion Sanders made it clear that he's not hard to find. But you guys, let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you, man. You know I respond to all comments. Make sure you share the video out. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
Another one.